frozen.
Oh no, I was thinking about how if you flipped Wham over, it'd still spell Wham. You could spin it and it would always be Wham. No.
You're catching the vision.
Sounds speedy.
Mitch just made the realization that if you flip Wham upside down, like a 180,
still
spells Wham.
Like a
Kind of like
kickflip.
mom. Welcome back, guys. We're here live. Word of mouth. Bang. We have two very special guests today. One is a friend of the pod, longtime host. She's back, everybody. Round of applause. Maddie McGever.
Do I
Wow.
look at the camera?
If you want to.
Just think about if you're listening / watching, listening to this podcast.
Okay. Hey everyone.
And then we also have the one and only CEO of Whammy Coffee, Mitch McGever.
Chairman, CEO,
Chairman and CEO.
President.
Founder.
Yeah.
Co-CEO, co-founder, co-chairman.
No, he's all those things. No, I willingly.
And I'd like to
surrender those
clarify,
titles.
I am CEO of all football operations, all coffee operations, all future football endeavors.
Sure.
Yeah.
While I cede to Maddie, chief executive.
Mm-hmm. And
Of
by
pastry.
football, you mean
Footy.
The
Footy.
real
A little bit
real
real
football.
British football.
Soccer if you're uneducated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're an imbecile.
Imbecile. Fascinating word there. What do we think imbecile means?
I don't know, but idiot.
I always think
Yeah.
of embassy when I hear that word. I'm like, what does that have to
Embassy.
do with embassy?
Oh, maybe they're connected.
Kind of like dummy.
Yeah.
Just a
Yeah, what Nimrod, idiot,
Oh,
imbecile,
Nimrod, that's a good one.
dummy,
Nimrod.
stupid head. They're all kind of
That's what you are if you don't know what we meant by football.
in the same.
They're all
Stupid
those-
head.
Guys, we are so excited about today's episode because we are finally sitting down with Mitch and Maddie because we've been wanting to sit down for years now but we kept it till now because we're finally approaching the grand opening of Whammy Whammy's Coffee Shop in
Let's
Birmingham.
go.
Let's
Let's go.
freaking go.
On your
Huge.
feet, everyone. On your
deal.
feet. Pull over your cars and get on your feet.
No, wait, where's the
Oh, I kind of like that one.
Yeah, there it is.
Yep.
Whammy coming to Birmingham this March?
Yes, it's happening.
Oh, man. Okay, so tell us what Whammy is. Tell us who you are. For those who don't know.
There you go.
You go.
You got it.
All right, so my name is Mitchell McGever, husband to Maddie. What is Whammy? It's tough to say. It's always been this, more of a lifestyle, more of a Whammy is how you feel.
Yeah.
But eventually it had to take shape in some physical present form. And it took the shape of coffee. And obviously you two know that I came by coffee genetically because my sister owns a coffee shop in Georgia.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
So
Plug.
business,
Noble in Maine and downtown Cartersville, Georgia.
There we go.
downtown Cartersville, Georgia, home of Trevor Lawrence,
Mm-hmm.
if you're familiar.
Also, home of a really good snow cone place. I can't remember the name of it.
Coconuts.
Coconuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, honestly, it's kind of a epicenter of Georgia business.
Some may say it's the new Atlanta. That's what I've
Some
heard.
have said. Some have said.
New Dunwoody.
Wow.
The new Atlanta Cartersville. Booming metropolis.
So, friend of the pod, Tate Sutter, and I just always kind of had ants in our pants to start a business, right? And so to try to make that a reality, we started trying to find little small fun projects that we could complete in like a weekend because we just didn't have, the gritty endurance for a long-term project. So
Sure.
we just wanted
Right.
to
You got to practice. You got to get your reps in.
we just wanted to flirt with a project
Yeah.
on the weekends. So this is before I met you.
Yeah, of
okay?
course. Of course.
We just want to flirt. So we went over to Georgia, practiced a little roast, gave it a name, and bagged it all up, brought it home to our friends. And we put a dinosaur on the outside of the bag with googly eyes. And
That's fantastic.
named it Whammy. And that's kind of where it started, and I tried to, give back to all the girls that I was, talking to, kind of
Yeah,
sweet on in
right.
town.
Hannah Montana.
Yeah. I sent one
Megan
to Ashley
Fox.
Tisdale, actually.
Ashley
Yeah.
Tisdale confirmed Mitchell's childhood crush.
Childhood crush.
Whoa.
Wow.
It's something about the loose tie, you know?
It's
something about the
Something
loose
about the
tie.
candy.
Yeah.
He's a big candy guy.
Yeah.
Wait, Mitchell, why don't you tell them how you guys got to the name Whammy?
That's a good question.
Yeah. So it's maybe an underwhelming part of Whammy lore.
Okay.
Where Tate and I just wrote down kind of a handful of favorite words, adjectives, onomatopoeias, and just scratched names off until we got down to Whammy. And it was
Yeah.
between Whammy Coffee and Grumps Coffee. And honestly, you could say, you know,
Yeah.
Tate probably had a little bit more of the Grumps Coffee. I had a little bit more of the Whammy.
Right.
Yeah.
So we arm wrestled for it, and Whammy won. And so we
It's a
just
good way
went
to
with it.
resolve conflict.
So we're just here on
and make
record.
decisions.
Mitch, you beat Tate in an arm wrestle. That's what you're saying.
That's
right
on
now.
the
Absolutely.
record.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it kind of came down to list out a bunch of words. That kind of sounds nice. I kind of like how that sounds. Kind of like Whammy Coffee. Like that's kind of fun to say. And
Yep.
that's how we chose it.
Words that begin with W are just fun to say, I feel like,
Right.
too.
Yeah.
So what year is this?
Wham.
Whenever the first bags get roasted.
Thank you for asking, Myers. First year of this would have been November 2021.
Okay. Yep.
Yep. So after our first failed COVID venture, Buddy Goods LLC,
Shout out, Buddy Goods.
we, this was our second crack of the bat. But
that was November of 21. I thought.
Yeah, it was my senior year
Oh,
of college.
okay.
yeah.
Because I remember you and Jake sitting on Ben Brown, like
Yeah.
chatting, trying to figure out what's this thing gonna be.
Yeah.
Oh, because
Yeah.
y'all were at freaking Beeson.
Yeah, we were in
Wow.
grad school, and Whammy was all I wanted to do because it took me away from grad school.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I would walk into class with a athletic duffel bag just full of bags of coffee. And like before and after class, I would just unzip it and like ask the guy next to me, like, "Hey, you like coffee?"
You were the plug.
I was the plug, and it felt so. It just felt right. I was like, I love taking a duffel bag into class
Yeah.
and trying to push a little product.
I mean, the first storefront was really the common area.
It's true.
in
It was.
Beeson.
It was, and
Because
so
I remember I didn't have any materials at home to make coffee, but I said I still want to go buy this bag because I get a dinosaur
Yeah.
on the inside.
yeah. So
So I
there was
went and
something
bought
for
it,
everyone,
you know?
Yeah. But something about the physical feeling of like nobody knows what I'm bringing in this duffel bag
Yeah.
until it hits them in the face.
Right.
You know, it just felt right. I felt like a traveling salesman.
What was your first type of coffee you ever roasted?
First was a Mexico,
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Come on.
and felt really good about it. Made sure that I had visited the actual city that the coffee was grown in before I roasted it.
Sure.
'Cause
Definitely.
I wanted to know everything about it.
Yeah.
Mexico's only got
Fair
one city, right?
sourcing.
Yeah.
Mexico.
City.
Yeah, Mexico City. Yeah. There's also something else that was going on around November of 2021. I think.
Yeah. No, I think there was.
Is it me?
No way.
Just looking for a natural segue.
No way.
Maddie.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could offer an alternate timeline
Come on.
to my half of
Give
Whammy
it to us.
if I
Give
could
it
be
to
so
us.
bold.
Be
I
so
feel
bold.
like you're WHA, I'm MMY. You know what I mean?
Mommy. Whammy's mommy.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. Yeah. So Mitchell and I met. Would you say something?
No, I have nothing to say.
Okay. Mitchell and I met on actually the Filter of Hope spring break mission trip through Redeemer College. Mitchell was first year post grad and I was a freshman, but don't worry, nothing nefarious was going on. I just thought he was really cute and I was like, he's going to think I'm a little girl. So he just is cute. So then fast forward a couple years later, we both started working at a book,
Store.
thank you, called Little Professor. And he did some barista coffee stuff and I was just the girl behind the
The
counter.
bookkeeper.
I was the bookkeeper, if you will, and I was like, "Oh, he's so cute. I have such a big crush on him." Like my hands would get sweaty. I was like, "Please don't speak to me because I'm not going to be able to actually formulate a sentence."
Yep.
It was that kind of crush, and that was all of 2021. So I got kind of like a maybe a second row seat into what was going on early Whammy. I bought a bag like pretty early because I had the biggest crush on you, and I was just like, I want him to know that I went to buy bag coffee. I too had no way of making coffee other than my roommate's Keurig.
Yep.
So I was like, can't use this, but want him to think that I'm
Yeah,
cool.
it definitely took me like weeks to
Yeah,
go through that bag.
for sure.
When I now go through a bag of coffee like once a week.
For sure.
Literally.
But yeah, then we started dating, and
First date was April 22.
yeah,
April
April
22.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
It was
a few months
stewing.
later.
It was like it was
Yeah,
kind of
Steven,
like
Steven
pressure
played an
cooking.
integral part in this union.
I thought it was I remember being on the phone with you, Mitch, whenever I lived in North Carolina, but I thought it was first semester. It was second semester, whatever. Like
This is my second semester,
Yeah.
junior year for me.
I think it might have started,
Yeah.
percolating.
percolating.
I would also like to give
Speaking of coffee,
props to Maddie because I met Claire, who is now my wife, at your 21st birthday.
No way.
Yes.
That's I don't think I knew that. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
She told her testimony at Redeemer.
Yes.
Oh,
We
yeah.
went out for your 21st birthday.
Yes.
I went around and made the
Yes, at
rounds
Mom's
and
basement.
met a bunch of people. Introduced myself to her. I think I told her my name was David or something that's not Myers. She said, "I know that's not your name, but I'm Claire."
Oh my god.
And then nothing really happened
Yeah.
until like 4 months later.
That's
But
amazing. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Claire and Ella took me to Mom's basement on my 21st birthday.
Yep.
And it was
yeah,
awesome.
they did.
Anyways.
There's actually never mind. I'm not gonna talk about that. Anyways, back to you. So tell your timeline of Whammy, because you just told your
Okay.
timeline of Mitch.
Sure.
But now tell me your timeline of Whammy.
Sure. So when we first started dating, I also love coffee, but never, and still to this day, I'm not a like coffee snob or coffee head, if you will. I just enjoy.
She's super down to earth.
Yeah, I'm like super cool. No. But when we first started dating, I remember just talking about Whammy and talking about, what Mitchell kind of wanted to do with it in general. And Mitchell I feel like just has the entrepreneurship bug. And from the moment I met you, I was like, we both come from families that have like self-employed vibes.
Bang! There it is.
Bang.
We have opened up the Lori can. Yes.
There she is. What's a timestamp? Oh, maybe like 10 minutes. Yeah, my mom owns a boutique with her sister, and then Mitch's parents both have done like self-made stuff. So when we first started dating and when it became clear that we were gonna, get married, we were like, yeah, that really didn't scare either of us to kind of do some self-made project. And it honestly, I feel like, and you can speak more to this, I feel like the dream was to do something in hospitality because we both just love people, but it kind of took the form of a coffee shop because that was something that Mitch had been doing, just roasting coffee, and we had a lot of resources like with his sister and her shop. So it was a really kind of happy accident, if you will.
Bang. I'm curious too. One thing that I was thinking about the other day, because obviously everybody's been asking me. I don't know if y'all know that or not, but a lot of people, because they know that I'm friends with y'all, expect me to know everything about Whammy's story. So this is one of the parts where I'm needing more clarification. So when did you get your roaster?
Roaster was
That summer, 22.
summer
Was it
22?
that summer?
Yeah, I
actually.
think so.
Yeah.
Think
And y'all
so.
were
Dating.
dating. When did y'all get engaged?
November of 22.
Okay, gotcha. Because that was whenever you did that, I was like, oh, this isn't just like, this isn't Buddy
Hobby,
Good. This isn't
yeah.
like another Tate Mitch thing. Like, like whenever you made that purchase, I was like, let's freaking go. He's going to do the thing. Because whether you are even only just a roaster or you open up a cafe space too, I feel like you're officially like in the coffee scene whenever you do that. So that's really cool. So November 22, and we're sitting here in freaking February of 25 right now. Wait, is it March? No, it's March of 25.
March
It's officially
2nd.
March. That's crazy. But anyways, so we're sitting in March of 2025. Tell me how you went from that I mean, why is it taking so long to get from there to here?
That's a great question. I think part of it was I was still in grad school when I got the roaster.
Yeah.
And I was in college.
Yeah. So it was kind of like from the beginning, it felt like Whammy was going to be more sustainable for me to continue to put energy into if I didn't feel the pressure to necessarily make it my career.
Sure.
Gotcha.
If we could keep it as like this is a fun kind of creative project.
Side hustle vibes.
Yeah, like this is something fun.
Back to the plug, if you will.
Yeah,
Right.
something fun we do on the weekends. It both takes the pressure off, and if it sucks, then I don't care because I can just be like, that's fine.
Not my
Like,
full-time thing.
Yeah, I'm no expert. I'm just kind of throwing stuff at the wall, see what sticks. So part of it was that, and then I knew that the roaster I bought, I knew that they held their value. So it was also
Sure.
it wasn't risk-free, but it was a little bit like if I hated it, I could sell the roaster and
Right.
just kind of
You're not going to take a huge financial hit
Right.
necessarily.
Right.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that they held their value. That makes sense, though.
Yeah. So I figured, I could sell it for about what I got it for if I wanted to, cut ties. So once I started roasting, then it was like, okay, well, came into contact with somebody who was talking about having like a pop-up coffee shop in their spot. So then just kind of started thinking like, okay, what would it look like to do the kind of minimum coffee shop setup? And like, what would that cost? Is it viable? Is it what I want to do? So over the past couple of years, had some experimentations doing those. And I think those baby steps kind of turned into being like, man, parts of this are really fun. The parts that really suck are typically the parts that we don't have any sort of control over.
Yeah.
Kind of like if you're in someone else's business and you're both trying to pull in a direction that makes sense for your business, then inevitably there's going to be times where your incentives are just not lined up and there's frustration. And so it felt like we were just a little limited by the places we were in when we couldn't transform them into the space that we wanted it to be.
Can I jump in for a second?
Oh, jump in.
And I think that is a big reason why, as we stand today, what Whammy is hopefully literally about to be is I think we saw in those pop-up experiences like dreams that we didn't even know we could start dreaming about when it came to like, just because both of us really, in November of 2022 when we got engaged, I don't think either of us were like, we're going to open up a coffee shop. It just kind of was like, we both really enjoy this. We love getting to talk to people. We love, like, I worked in retail my whole life. Like, I love people-centric work. And I think it just so happened to, in both of our experiences with like some pop-ups, it just so happened to be like, wait, this is a lot of fun. We get to make really fun drinks and like people really enjoy being taken care of in this way, which I think made us really be like, wait, is this something we like fully want to lean into?
I mean, that's pretty freaking cool right there.
Love it.
So like, y'all are at your house, Sonny's running around and, y'all are having these conversations. I mean, what was that like for y'all as a married couple? Because I think from my understanding, y'all are the only married couple who own a coffee shop like together in Birmingham. Maybe I don't know who owns Santos. I don't know who owns. Actually, Calla I think is run by two buddies.
I think Calla is a married couple.
Oh, it is.
I think.
Maybe Calla is the only one. Calla, if you're listening, hey, we want to have you on, or Calla, however you pronounce it. We would love to settle that debate on this podcast. By the way,
Somebody please, Calla or Calla, let us know.
So, I'd like to interject there.
Please.
My best theory is I read at some point their origin story was moving from California to Alabama. And that's
Allah.
What do you call it when they're put together? A portmanteau. What? The portmanteau.
Yep.
A portmanteau.
He went to grad
Portmanteau
school.
sounds like a variety of wine.
So
He went to grad school.
I would say Calla feels pretty safe.
That's usually where I
Okay.
land because I read the same thing.
Let's go.
Okay, well, so
Verified
all
source
Calla
alert.
people out there, frick you. And again, Calla people, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on A. And B, please give them advice on this too. So anyways, so husband, wife, conversation at the house talking about like this whole people centric, dream and stuff like that. I mean, what was that like over the past few years? When those spaces weren't working out and all the things.
Why don't you give your perspective?
Yeah, I think you should go first.
No.
I don't have anything really insightful. You go.
I'll just not speak until Maddie speaks.
Well, I mean, okay. Okay. I feel like we through the pop-up experiences, just like Mitchell was saying, I think we both, again, it was kind of like we didn't realize that we loved it so much until we were in it. Like, I think on the front end of working some pop-ups, we were like, oh yeah, like, this is a natural progression of like where Whammy we think it will go. But then I think in those experiences, we were like, no, wait, like we actually kind of love this. And I feel like we got to like interact with a lot of different people. I think that's one of the beautiful things about coffee is it brings like your friends together, but it also brings like strangers that live in the neighborhood. Like I guess that's probably the service industry in general. But we really enjoyed like getting like kind of to meet the regulars and like, yeah, just like make people feel taken care of. And it sounds so like, I don't know, like Hobby Lobby cringe sign, but it's true. Like people really do remember how you made them feel. And it really is like being able to offer a service, especially when it comes in the form of like a drink. It's like, and people already are kind of like picky about their coffee. It's just a fun like lane. I feel like to, just like highlight, like we want you to feel, I think the like motto of Whammy is like coffee for fun, right? So like we want it to be good and tasty, but like we care way more about like, you not feeling like you are being judged for getting caramel in your latte or whatever. And I think that was a huge part of the conversation at home was we were just like, man, like we kind of like love doing this and we kind of love like getting to just meet different kinds of people. And I think we had just like a real desire. Kind of it grew within a space of the pop-ups to like actually do our own thing and really get to like, we felt like we were kind of putting a toe in the water of hospitality, getting to like actually jump in was something that we both were like, absolutely. And I think that's been like a dream that we've had since we got married, of just like wanting to create, a space for people, whatever that meant, to gather and to hang. And it just kind of, again, has in the Lord's sovereignty, like taken the shape of a coffee shop, which is kind of funny.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have another, unless you want to add to it, Mitch.
Well, I was going to add, I think...
That you think I'm so beautiful and so right and so funny and like seriously, you couldn't ask for a better partner.
Live, laugh, love with this one, I'll tell you. But I wanted to add probably a little bit of context to like, let's say the preceding 18 months of marriage and working towards a shop, but not having a firm commitment, lease, plan, like no certainty. And it was like, it sucked so much of the time because it was mostly chasing leads that were an outside shot of coming to fruition. Mostly, if it wasn't an outside shot, then when we get to kind of the stage 2 of like, let's negotiate to try and figure out if we can be here, we might face rejection at that stage of like a, not a good fit for this landlord, or a different tenant comes in with a better offer. So might get rejected at any level of investment from minimal up to like, we're ready to move in.
Yeah.
And so we had a couple in all those ranges of like, there was one space in Forest Park that we were, ready to sign a lease on. And then, we're told that they were going to lease it to a different, more kind of stable tenant, which made sense. But lots of that, I think tested our actual desire to open a shop, because there were plenty of times that it seemed, easier to let me go get a full-time job again, and I'll go back to Regions Bank, and I'll see if they'll have me back. So it was, I think
he looks really hot in lime green, if you're wondering.
Regions Green looks great on me.
I've known Mitch at many points in my life, and I think Regions Mitch was by far the lowest.
By far. Like below, far beyond sea level.
Yeah,
like
my man's wasn't meant to live in a cubicle.
He wasn't. Also, just too many buttons on my clothes. I get nervous.
I also think, too, like, there's probably a lot of people that'll listen to this that will just be curious about what it's like to open up a coffee shop. Like, when you, like, what was it like jumping into those conversations where you were like
landlord stuff?
Talking about like money numbers and crap like that? Like, that had to be terrifying.
Yeah, I think
Is currently.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but
It still is,
it got
but yeah.
like the first conversation you have where a landlord's like, what do you think about a 5-year lease? And I was like, I didn't know that people sign on for 5 years. Like I thought maybe 2 years was the max.
Sure.
And progressively through those conversations, you get accustomed to like, okay, we're probably going to talk about price per square foot. Like you get a little bit of street knowledge.
Yeah.
But still, even up to this last like lease negotiation, like there are just so many aspects to it that have to be negotiated, worked out. And my roommate in college became my real estate attorney, and honestly,
Wow.
was my advocate for everything good that we were able to get in the lease. But it never got not scary. It never got familiar by any stretch, and it was always like do you think this looks good? I think this looks good, but also I don't know anything. Like, you're bearing a level of imposter syndrome the whole time, and still are, because we just haven't opened a coffee shop before, and it's like you can't know what you can't know
don't
yet.
know.
Yeah.
Which I think leads us to a really fun. Oh, sorry, I did it again. Nope. Oh, frick. Today's generic segment of Myers Business Talk. Okay, so Myers, I have to ask you a question.
Yep.
And as the previous regions employee in the room, Mitch, you can probably take it a little. You can dip
Econ
your toes
guy.
into this.
I'd love to.
One thing that really rubs me the wrong way about business people. I don't understand when you show up to a space. Why do people use terminology and lingo that's so stupid and unhelpful? Yeah. Do you think that they're trying? Do you think it's like a gatekeeping mechanism, Myers, that they would be talking about price per square
Triple
foot?
net? Is the rent triple net? What does that mean?
Yeah. Do you think that price per square foot? Like, do you think that people can compute that quickly in their brain? Do you think that anyone can say, "Oh, what is this number times 3,000 in their brain?" Is anyone able to do that besides like a human calculator? No, that's my thing. So why do you think lease agreements and like when you started getting into real estate, and even the other day, like I asked Claude, which Claude is Mitch and I's favorite AI.
Yep.
But I asked Claude the other day, how much is a $30,000 loan? It was like a car. I was trying to figure out a car payment. I was like, how much is a $30,000 loan right now? And it was like the longest Claude took in a month. Was like trying to figure out a monthly payment for a $30,000 loan today. I'm like, why is business? I feel like there's like some guy in a back room that's trying to rip me off always, and that guy is freaking. Like, I don't know, some dude that works for Trump. I don't know where. Jeff Bezos
He's
is back
for
there.
sure
Can't
wearing lime green.
necessarily speak to real estate as well, being that I am not a real estate professional. But
Yeah.
I can use insurance as an example because I am.
Which, holy freaking crap. Talk about random terms to
Yes.
steal money from people that exists in insurance.
I am an insurance professional,
Yeah, you are.
and
That's really crazy to hear you say out loud.
yeah,
Wow.
I from what I can tell, I think it's mostly legalese. So, a company gets sued for this, that, and the other, and then they have to build in some kind of clause or, thing that explicitly states for insurance whether or not something is or is not covered with the policy.
Yeah.
So, insurance forever and ever is just going to get more and more complicated as more and more companies try and underwrite, which is the process of pricing how much it costs to not accept the risk for yourself.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to layman people?
I mean, yeah.
There's no way to know.
It's like, again, it's like you just had to use the term underwrite, which is underwrite is just a term that means estimate. Why don't you just use the word? But I also feel the same way about medicine. Like Gracie, every single time she's like, yeah, we had somebody code today. It's like, just say die. Just say die.
I mean,
we had somebody die today.
Do you
Why
think
don't we say
people-
code?
Do you think people think that about us who work in ministry?
I
Like
hope
we use
they
some
do.
lingo that it's like, why don't you just say
100%.
they
I
messed
think with
up?
any profession or hobby even,
Yeah.
Jargon.
there are
VO2
jargon
max.
terms. Yeah, like climbing is one of the easiest examples.
Yeah.
There's just so much unnecessary jargon You know,
jargon.
what is a crimp? It's just a tiny little hold. You know,
Yeah.
What
I
is a
still think-
hold? It's what you grab.
We had to pay our inland marine policy on Gracie's wedding ring.
Yeah.
So instead of just calling it a jewelry policy, it's an inland marine. And I asked my dad one time the same question of like, just because the whole thing frustrates me so much.
Yes.
But the inland marine is like insurance originally started on. There was like a way to back up shipments that went across the ocean.
Yep.
So then whenever the insurance went from that to then the things traveling on land, it was like marine policies, and then there was inland marine policies where you would insure money that floated around on land. I'm like, that is like, why haven't we been able to change that name? Yeah. It's 2025.
Time for a rebrand.
Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry. Well, that's the end of our generic buyer's business segment. We're back into it now with. Okay, so we've figured out all of this way that Whammy's come. Now, come March. What, can we say a date?
Say it.
March 20th, subject to change.
March 20th. Okay, that is the freaking grand opening. Soft. Well, actually, I don't use any terms.
First day of spring.
First day of spring. And that's how whammies right there. But
FDOS. FDOS.
first day of
It'll be
spring.
It'll be on socials. We'll
Yes.
drop this right before the grand opening or right around
Possibly
it.
day of.
Whoa, this is
Possibly
a
day
future episode. Should we predict something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
I think that on March 20th, Whammy will make $1 million and
Completely sell out by 10 a.m.
there will be a new color of the Cybertruck, and it will be navy blue.
Love
Is
it.
this a parlay?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely a
both
two-legged
things are
parlay.
Both
true.
things happen.
One thing to note is that Maddie does not know how much we make off a latte, nor how much we have in the bank account.
This is true.
right now. So
This is true. Maddie is. I'm the CFO, Chief Fun Officer.
Right.
You are also CFO, Chief Financial Officer.
right.
Right.
And sometimes
We know our lanes.
her CFO title thinks it's maybe a little entitled to
Give out free coffee.
give out free funds
Yeah.
to herself also.
Yeah.
Hey, we don't do that. We don't do that for friends coffee shops. Hey, also, guys, I'm gonna do a PSO or PSA on behalf of Mitch and Maddie. Don't ask for free coffee. Don't expect for free coffee when you show up there. Okay? Deal. Done. Because Maddie and Mitch probably will never say that to your face, but I will.
They have a business. They need to make a living.
That's right.
If you want to
Appreciate you
support
guys.
your friends,
Yeah.
then you
Appreciate you
should pay
guys.
them money.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you don't pay them for coffee, then be prepared to pay their rent. Literally.
I would
That's
say
right.
don't ask Maddie for free coffee because if you ask
'Cause
me
she'll
for
give it to
free
you.
coffee and I don't want to give it to you, I feel okay saying that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think protecting the
Yeah.
chief baking officer.
Chief Baking Officer.
Yes.
Chief FNBO.
Chief FBO.
CFBO. First episode, I like it. Sorry. Okay, so I'm curious now. So we've come all this way. March 20th, you're going to be walking into Whammy. Say I'm a person who doesn't know what to expect. When I walk into Whammy, what am I getting? And you can take this a metaphorical way.
What are you getting? Are you the chief vibe officer?
I would say we co-chair that.
Yeah, I think what we want you to get is we want you to feel like you can order something that you will love even if you're not a coffee person.
Yeah.
Whether that is, through dialoguing with us and just being like, hey, you don't usually drink coffee? That's fine. Like, what are some drinks that you like? Like, let's start there. And then really quickly, let's work out, what might sound good. And we'll give it to you. If it doesn't taste good, then let's try something
Try
else.
again, yeah.
But I think we want to remove any sort of obstacle that people might self-impose that, this is not, coffee's not a world they understand or vibe with. So let's take away that obstacle. And I think once you take that kind of obstacle away, I think that just opens up a little bit more human to human connection kind of potential. And hopefully that people feel like it's a fun spot where they can come and hang out for a bit. And, people are willing and want to talk to them and know them and enjoy time with them. And that can kind of become a good third space or fixture in their life where they feel like, if nothing else is going on, why not grab a book?
Let me
head
pull
over to
up.
Whammy? Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
pull up real quick.
Pull up. Okay, so I think it's so interesting. I think throughout it's really cool to me too that I'm kind of hearing conversations that me and Mitch and Maddie have been having over literally the past 2 years of our friendship, but all in like one synchronous conversation right now with mics in front of our mouths. But I'm really curious. That is something that I've noticed as a trend throughout this, or like a pattern as we've talked about it. That is the first interaction that y'all always talk about. Is like when people come up, you don't want them to feel intimidated to order coffee, or you don't want them to feel like they like have to be afraid or something like that. Why do y'all think that y'all are so quick to give that as an example whenever y'all think about the heart of Whammy, or like the personality of Whammy?
I think when we look over like at our experience doing pop-ups and stuff, I would say the most exciting or rewarding customer experiences have been with people who, whether it's like at a wedding or when we're popped up in a store or at some corporate event, and they're like, hey, I would love to try something, but I don't know what any of these drinks are, and I would like you to help me find something. And walking through that, and then them coming back and being like, I really liked this. Or, maybe it takes 1 or 2 or 3 tries and we have to like tweak it. But finding them something they like is very rewarding. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you get a little bit of relationship, friendship is built there, and just the like, man, it's awesome to help people find something that they enjoy, and to be a part of that and to be a resource. And so, whether it comes from just like a, it doesn't matter where it comes from, but it's just, I think those are the most rewarding.
Yeah.
Sure. I love that.
A word we like to use a lot, I feel like, when talking about Whammy, is this idea of like delight. Like, oh, that was a delightful experience. Like, from when I walked in to when I left. Like, I didn't feel like I was in the way. I didn't feel like I was being rushed. I didn't feel like, I just felt like that was a delightful experience. And I feel like a good story I can share as to why we specifically love the like drink, helping you find the drink you love portion is here at Redeemer Community Church. We do this thing called 9 Lessons and Carols every Christmas. It's like a whole thing. One of the band members of 9 Lessons and Carols, his name is Brian Johnson. He plays the electric guitar. Shout out, Brian. I don't know if he'll ever listen to this, but it'd be cool if he did. Brian came up to me. So we popped up at the last 9 Lessons and Carols in 2023.
4.
Really? No, we haven't had one of 2025 yet.
Yeah,
2023, and he came by the coffee cart and was like, hey, I'm not really a coffee drinker, but I want something. We've been doing 4 shows. I need to pick me up. So Mitch made him something, and he really liked it so much so that every time I saw him throughout the next year, so we would play together on Sunday mornings, or I would see him in passing, he would be like, I cannot wait for the Whammy cart to show up again, because I don't remember what Mitch made me, but it was the best drink I've ever had. I've been thinking about it. And then finally we get to 9 Lessons, and Brian literally is like stoked out of his mind. This is like a grown man with children. Like, he was stoked out of his mind when he found out that Mitch was down in the basement, like ready to make him whatever drink it was. And it was like,
yeah, but then he was like, I'll take whatever you made me last year. And I was like, brother, I have no clue.
365 days ago.
Literally.
I was like, what did it taste like? He was like, I don't know, but it was good.
But it was one of those things too, where it was like, you made him maybe a new drink, the same drink, whatever, and then like wrote it down on a card for him to like have, just kind of a thing like that, where it's like, this is I feel much more than just a customer of this thing. I am like a valued, these people want to make sure that I enjoy what I'm drinking, kind of thing, which is, again, like just back to that, like how you feel. The vibes.
Tell us about, we've kind of hit on this briefly. Both of you come from relatively entrepreneurial families. What's that process been like with both your families? Have your parents been supportive, cautious? Are they like, it's been so hard for me to run my business, this is going to be terrible? Or are they like all on board? What's that been like?
I feel like my parents have been super supportive. And I think partially because my dad has, since he was 15, probably been employed by 2 different places, probably for a sum total of like 18 months.
Wow. True-blooded entrepreneur.
True-blooded. And, mostly because he just couldn't bear to work for anyone, other than himself and couldn't bear going into the office and things like that. So he did car detailing and did construction and now does buying and selling used cars, just anything that is out and about. So I grew up under that and, seeing the freedom that gave, also, to an extent, the insecurity that can be there. But there was a level of creativity and freedom to move and work like in a certain type of way that I just kind of grew up thinking was normative and really wanted to emulate. And I think, seeing my sister and her husband start a shop, and, my aunt owns a real estate firm that is just her and a couple agents, but has done that for 30 years. So I think all the, close folks in my life, like that is just kind of the norm to operate. So it felt very natural. They were all very supportive. And I think my whole life had, to an extent, felt like trying to start something of my own was more inevitable than a decision to make. It was just kind of the underlying assumption. But just, didn't know what form the first venture would take. Right. So just kind of kept trying different things and hobbies, projects until found one that took. But my parents, when I took my first job out of college at Regions Bank and was just cranking out spreadsheets, like I was miserable and my family was like miserable for me. Yeah. They were always, we gotta figure out how to spring you from the clink. They were just trying to get me out. So it was very much a like, expected, supported all the way.
Love it.
I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, same here. My mom owns a boutique with her sister in our small town of Arkansas. And honestly, kind of same as you were talking about that. Like, and my dad was a basketball coach and athletic director for 40-something years at our tiny public high school.
State champ winning.
State champ, that's
Come
right.
on.
Actually, 3 times. State champion winner, 1986, 1988, 2006. Yeah, that's right. I'm a good daughter. No, but my grandparents, like my grandma, like had her own real estate situation. My grandpa, I feel like we both come from families where we've seen this self-employed life be really awesome and also really hard. Like my mom was a drug rep for a long time and then lost her job in 2007 and started the business in like 2008 with my aunt. And so I think we've seen we have kind of have a perspective on this kind of being the sole financial support for our family. And yeah, I've felt so much support from, and so many I feel like helpful resources that come from our families being kind of self-made. Like I feel like they've instilled in both of us like why you work hard and why, work even matters. And yeah, giving us like helpful tips along the way, which has been good.
Love it. What about the relationship with money? I think a lot of people, at least our age, is something I struggle with, charging a price for something. Like, you have to understand you're providing a service that people want, otherwise they wouldn't pay you money, right? But Mitch, you've been trying several things, trying to figure out what sticks. How do you wrestle with that relationship? It's like you do need to make money. It is, for lack of a better term, it's kind of like the food or the oxygen or the water of the business, even though that's not the end goal. The end goal is not to be fabulously wealthy necessarily. It could be a byproduct because Whammy is going to slay. But what has that relationship been like with money? How do you balance that?
It's a good question. It feels, at least my gut instinct would be, I think I'm more prone to, and as I'm sure like many people who experiment with entrepreneurship feel, like the difficulty in naming, this work that I put in is of this quality and therefore I'm going to tell my friends that they have to pay me, $15, $16, $17 for my coffee. I think especially at the beginning, didn't have so much the confidence for that, like, pricing it accurately. Is it worth that? Am I doing a good job roasting? All those things. But I also think at the very beginning, like that the more volume of, whatever service or product or whatever entrepreneurial venture, like getting it into people's hands and getting feedback is more useful than the money you stand to make on the first however many editions of the service or product you provide. So at the beginning, it's almost kind of like a borderline internship of like, yeah, I'm probably not going to make very much money, but I'm going to kind of get to refine my craft a little bit. And is probably more illuminating for your future with that venture than it would be to kind of identify just the right proper price on the front end. Because I think as you develop expertise in a certain thing, you kind of get a little bit more comfortable charging like a fair market rate when you look around, and then tweaking it from there. But yeah, I feel like I gave away so many bags of coffee in the first years, and some of them I got zero feedback on. Maybe they thought it was terrible and they couldn't, bear to tell me. But lots, like, people were like, man, I liked the coffee, but I also liked that there was a toy inside, and I liked the branding.
That there was a crossword on the front.
And now, maybe my kid wants me to buy another bag of your coffee so they can have another dino. So there is some real intangible gain from just getting out there and experimenting with it, and kind of worrying about the value of it later.
I love that.
That's so cool.
Trial by fire.
I think it's a really crazy thing trying to manage roasting and coffee. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Roasting
I'm curious
in a
about
cafe.
that. Yeah, roasting and and a coffee and a coffee shop. That was the word I missed out there. No, I'm really curious because I worked in 2 cafes in my life, and I've worked at a billion other one-off cafe things as well, it feels like. But the 2 cafes that I worked at, one of them was they had to bring in their own coffee. They had to ship in their own coffee, and they had a partnership with La Colombe, which is not a great roaster, but it was they had a bunch of different varieties because they're a big roaster. So it was fun getting to pick from a selection and stuff. But then the other cafe that I worked at was one of the best roasters in the world, or they always get voted. And I think they do some of the craziest, coolest stuff with coffee. But it was also the wildness of the roastery was almost a completely different business than the cafes. The roastery people would come over to the cafe sometimes, and then the cafe people would sometimes go over and do a cupping at the roastery. But it was so interesting. I remember one time looking at Kyle's WhatsApp. Kyle's our guy who managed farmer relationships, which is even that is that's just so insane. And that in English is there was a guy that was an owner of the coffee shop that I worked at, and he had to communicate with coffee farmers all over the world, and they only communicated through WhatsApp. So literally I saw Kyle, this guy in North Carolina. I saw his phone, and he was managing and
That's
he was
so cool.
Talking to direct to farmers.
That's insane.
With all over the world, and he would be talking to Ethiopians at this time of day, Panamanians at this time of day, Papua New Guineans at this time of day, whatever. And it was so wild hearing. And then they would negotiate price. It was also weird because they would negotiate price for them, and then whatever it was, they would give them $5 more per pound, or I don't know exactly how it worked, but they were Black and White always had this thing where whatever they said was fair for them, whatever their offer was, they would accept it, and they would give them $5 more or however much it was per pound to make it a more livable wage. Now I know that coffee farming is getting more equal, fair wage across the board. So I don't know if that still is how they do it. But anyways, all I'm trying to say is it was so crazy. It seems so much more difficult to source farms, get green coffee seeds or whatever you want to call them, cherries here, beans. I don't like when people call them beans, but coffee beans here. And then going through the roasting process, try to figure out how you're going to roast it, find the recipe, whatever, do it, and then get them into the cafe and try to figure out which ones you're going to put on pour over, which one are you going to put on drip, which one are you going to put on espresso, are you going to put all of them on the same thing, yada, yada, yada. So I'm curious about that aspect of it too. I think for those people, I think I have kind of two like directions for this question. One is like for the people that just come into the shop, like what are you getting excited about putting, like, you know, if you can nerd out, like what is your coffee going to be like? What kind of coffees are you going to put out there and stuff? Or what coffees that you roast do you get excited about serving to people? And then also like for those who might be listening and then they're like trying to think about like, oh, it's so cool, like thinking about how a cafe owner thinks. Like what is like that workflow like in general? Like, I mean, that has to be like a pretty like absurd logistics process to do while you also have to like, I mean, quite literally go work in a coffee shop, you know, because you're starting I mean, imagine you're not starting with like a staff. I mean, I know that, but for the people that don't know that, you're not starting with a staff of like 30 people. You're starting with a really small staff. So like, what's that process like in your brain?
Should we really quick say the coffee we're most excited about on the count of three? I wonder if it's the same. That we're most
I love
excited
that.
about people to try.
Sure.
You think we can do it?
No.
Why?
Because we try this kind of thing all the time.
Yeah, but you know the answer. Okay.
Okay.
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1.
Steven, countdown.
I'll count on three. Okay. One.
Wait. The
Actually-
coffee that we're most excited for people to try at Whammy.
All right. Ready?
We're
On
gonna
three.
Get this wrong. All right.
Don't say
Count us
that.
down.
1, 2, 3.
Costa Rica. Let's
Oh,
go.
hey, okay, let's go. That
Okay.
actually gets me excited.
A caveat to that, shout out caveat, is that I think given like our current wholesale retail business up until this point, we've been limited in our experimentation of a whole bunch of different kind of coffees.
Sure.
Because most of it has been, can we get a handful of coffee varietals that are affordable, that are good, we kind of have a handle on how they roast, and that people seem to enjoy. Let's prioritize reordering those rather than be able to kind of get a breadth of understanding.
So like you've only gotten a few of the same farms, like you haven't gone like all over the place.
I mean, we've gotten different farms, but generally like
Same regions.
yes, generally like reordered Costa Rican coffee, you know, and yes, different farm, different altitude, all those things.
Sure.
But, you know, knowing that given our experiences with the last Costa Rican batch are probably going to have some similarities for us to work off.
Yeah.
And part of that's because, you know, usually we're ordering them in 130-pound burlap sacks. So it's just not having the capital thus far to be able to do 7 different types of coffees and have a good understanding of how they're differing, how to roast them. Like part of it's we haven't been able to do. So I think part of the exciting part is that the cafe will hopefully have enough volume to kind of allow us to broaden both our own understanding and offering eventually.
Yeah. That's the only thing I was going to add for, because we're kind of getting like coffee talk right now for the people that don't know what we're talking about. There's like a spectrum in coffee where some, like, I guarantee you if you had like a peach natural anaerobic process in a cup on the right, and then you had like a bare bone like Ethiopia washed coffee on the left, you would completely be able to tell the difference. There's also like a billion different coffees in the middle, and there's like different plant types in different regions and different altitudes at different countries all over the world, and they all fall somewhere in that spectrum of taste. And that's kind of what we're talking right now. Like right now he's kind of Mitch has had like a few, and then hopefully in the future he'll be able to like figure out more of what's on that rainbow.
I also just want to point out
that
that
any sense?
You just did the thing that you get frustrated with about business people. You went super deep into coffee talk.
Well, I was trying to explain. I was trying to define terms.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to say that any hobby, any profession has
Don't
that.
rewind and write this down because there will not be a test. But I would say what you said logistically, they are pretty like, as you scale, pretty different sides of the business. And really the only highly transferable aspects are, can you taste a coffee and understand what you need to change to make it better? Like that's kind of the one thing that transfers. So the roasting is a lot more like, you know, macro logistics and a little bit more supply chain thought and making sure you're getting good value, affordable coffees that meet the quality standard. and enough of them to supply the cafe and vice versa. So,
and I feel like Mitch's sister's shop, Noble and Main in downtown Cartersville, Georgia. Shout out. They do a really good job. I think of they're very. I mean, we are in some ways like a carbon copy of what they have going on, of a married couple who loved to roast and wanted a space, and I think that they marry the two things really well while keeping it high quality.
Yeah.
Mary. Sorry, I got distracted about like how many people I know named Mary. I've also had an intrusive thought this entire time.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Okay, your microphone and your microphone, you could put those like in your mouth. I was like intrusive thought to be like to like eat the microphone. These are too big, but I was noticing how small yours is and how small yours is. Like you guys could totally take a bite.
Mine's not too big.
Sorry.
Whenever Jacob McClendon's on, he literally puts it inside of his mouth several times.
At some point, I will make a compilation that's a minute long of him just going, oh.
Yeah, it's actually so freaking
especially
annoying.
that one. Like,
it's very. This is a drum mic. This is definitely like an area mic for drum set. But
sorry, back to coffee. I was just letting my intrusive thought win for a second.
Okay. Talk to. Well, actually, okay. So Maddie, I want to hear from you right now. So when someone walks in and is like, Maddie, what even is like a freaking Mexico natural? How do you answer that question? How do you, as the CFO, Chief Fun Officer?
I'm feeling nervous. Thank you for asking. I think so. I don't know a ton about that kind of stuff. I am much more on the like, let me tell you how I made this syrup, or let me tell you, about, I don't know, this pastry. But I think the way I kind of like to think, well, one, if someone asks me that question, I'm going to say, have you met my husband, Mitchell? He can answer all those questions for you. I might just be like, I think that I might play into that too, of the like, girl, I don't know, like Google it. What can I get you?
Play into air quotes.
Yeah, I would play into the
authentically.
I'm just trying to make the person across the counter like feel like
heard.
We're the same. Me and you are the same.
I had an experience at an unnamed cafe the other day.
Oh,
and I asked what a term on a coffee bag was, and it was at a coffee shop that's like definitely lives into the pretentious vibe.
Oh, okay.
And they legit were like, I actually used to know that. I used to be so into that kind of stuff, and I'm not anymore.
Oh, what? How did you react to that?
I kind of love the honesty.
Yeah, it was still it kind of was like a pretentious, like.
I'm not really into that anymore.
I'm above really that.
Yeah, kind of vibe. I was like, okay, cool.
Just with like the state of the world, like I just like blah 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 blah. You're like, what? I think I would be like, I don't know. Wait for Mitchell to come back. He can probably tell you what a Mexico natural is. I would say it's from Mexico and it's processed naturally.
When I worked at Revelator, I was not trained to know any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I would get asked, what's the best this for that kind of brew method, espresso or whatever. And I would genuinely not have any clue, but I would just try and pull something out of my butt.
I feel like my dad, can I say a bad word on the show or no?
Yeah, you totally can.
Okay, my dad used to tell me growing up, if you can't dazzle them with the truth, baffle them with bullshit. So I feel like that's definitely where I tend to lean, especially. I'd be like, it's a aromatic, beautiful cup of coffee.
Think about a field of flowers and there's a grapefruit in your back pocket.
Dude, okay, so like one thing that I'm curious about is like what kind of music's going on at Whammy? Like what are y'all? I'm like genuinely so curious what kind of vibes.
Is there a playlist, a radio station?
Here's the thing
it's
about
contested.
Whammy that I feel like we should get ahead of. We are not like two people that are like, we are cool people. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say we're like self-proclaimed like we are cool folks. I would say we're like much more like, oh, we're kind of normal. I don't know what you think.
Ringing endorsement.
But no. But like I love pop music. Like I'm not ashamed of that. And so like when I'm on bar, it's probably going to be like some 2000s pop hits. Maybe instrumental if like that's better for the vibes. But I don't know like cool bands.
Like instrumental, like you're just saying like by Usher, but no voice,
like Bad
or like
Romance,
an
but
acoustic,
like classical version of like some violins. Whoa, yeah. Exactly.
I love whenever you get into a hotel like late, like super late at night, and you're at like I don't freaking know, you're at like a La Quinta, I don't know. What's like a normal one?
Hilton Garden
Hilton.
Inn.
You're at a Hilton Garden
Yeah.
Inn, and it's 3 a.m. and you just got back from somewhere or flew in or something, and you're like dead, and you get in the elevator, and then violin version of Bad Romance
Literally.
comes on, and you're just
Literally.
like,
You're like, why is it?
but that you just put me into that moment for 90
Maybe
seconds.
some-
You listen to it.
Maybe some Hamilton. Just kidding.
I'm open. Look, I think every genre will have its time.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
But
Mitch, when you're on bar, what are you playing?
I mean, I think partially it's just kind of read the room. You know,
And the temp outside.
like
It's like, is it Jason Isbell weather? Is like kind of there's a chill in the air,
Ooh.
or is it like
you're
Maggie
kinda-
Rogers the sun's
You're
out?
kind of the weatherman of
Sure.
of 1,300
Right.
square feet, right?
Right.
And so
Weatherman.
I'm,
I love that.
I'm looking at my homie working from home in the corner,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking to myself, what does he need right now that's going to make him
Put it
feel
in my pocket,
alive?
put it in my
You know,
pocket, in my back pocket, that one.
if it's college students, I'm going to be like, ooh,
Ooh,
okay, top 50.
Go
names,
where you
know?
move it. Go me.
I'm in a
You know what I mean?
Right.
No, I
College
was gonna go,
students.
"Birds of a feather, we-" Keep
A
going. Name
group.
people and I'll
Jake,
do the song.
Jake Petty, Carl Neal walk in. What are you playing?
But
I'm
I
playing
thank
Sturgill
God
Simpson.
for the work.
Yeah, Sturgill Simpson.
I'm too tired to go to church.
RJ walks in. What do you play?
Sturgill Simpson again.
No, for RJ it's Pink Pony Club.
RJ?
Yeah,
RJ does love Pink Pony.
he does.
Try to think of
Are you just naming
Tate
Trent
Sutter.
Taylor. Trent Taylor walks in. What do you play?
generic fraternity brothers?
Of
that,
you,
uh,
yes, specifically
that all
you.
wear boots.
Trent Taylor.
I think Trent would listen to LMFAO.
Oh, I was gonna say Pink Pony Club again.
LMFAO would be sick.
Gonna mind the
I like that
bun in the speedo, trying to tan my cheeks.
All right.
What?
Okay, Sam Peacock walks in. What are you playing?
His song.
Yeah, I'm playing his album.
Flying
Literally
Panthers,
from
bro.
Boy. I
Oh.
listened to Sam's album like on a whole roast day. I just hit play from start to finish.
Wow.
And it was good.
Yeah, man. He's a lot better now than he was when he started.
Wow, that's
real.
That's a
He's-
compliment
yeah,
you just
it's real.
made.
Tate Sutter walks in. What are you playing?
The
Tate-
Lion King soundtrack.
Tate Sutter walks in. I'm playing every video of him I have on his phone, just the raw audio, just chained back to back to back.
Great. Grayson Hill walks in. What are you playing?
Grayson
Night
Hill.
fever, night fever.
If Grayson Hill walked in for like his first ever Whammy
I feel like you're not liking my
cappuccino-
ideas over here.
Sorry, I'm kind of locked in.
Okay, whatever.
Grayson Hill walks in. It's probably
Espresso?
what's it called? Well, imagine as I'm walking
I write sins, not tragedies.
Yeah, which that was.
SOS. What's the name of that band?
Haven't you panic
Yeah.
at the disco?
Yeah,
But that was Grayson and I's first karaoke song. So.
Gangnam Style.
Okay,
Yeah.
here's a
it just
personal
means-
question that's just fun that I've been liking lately.
Okay.
So we asked this, I think, 1 or 2 episodes ago. Obviously, y'all have a lot of tastes, preferences. You like cool clothes, or you are into coffee, whatever. What is something that you choose not to differentiate on? What is something that you just accept the norm?
Oh, that's a
You can't freaking say Taylor Swift.
Okay, that was gonna be my answer, but okay. Because I'm above average in my love for her.
I was
so-
going to say
That is, you do differentiate yourself.
Yeah, I do.
Which is another. I mean, we
something
could talk
that
about
you
that all day long.
literally you don't think about. Like, I go to my closet and I build an outfit and I put the shoes on and do whatever.
Okay.
I differentiate in that way. But I go to buy a Garmin watch and I'm like, I don't know, just get me like the cheap one, I guess.
The one.
And I just don't care.
That's a good question.
What are you okay to be a normie about?
You're definitely gonna have to edit out the amount of time it takes us to answer this. Just that blank space.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to think that I got a lot going on up there.
Yeah, that's the point of long form media.
I mean,
we want people
I
to
think-
like sit and not get instant gratification right
That's
now.
right. I think part of it would be clothes for the most part.
I was about to say
Really?
that too.
But I will take like
Y'all are joking. Are you being
There's
serious?
no
me?
way.
Y'all two dress like so cool all the time.
oh my gosh, say it again.
like all
but
the girls on Pinterest.
I would say here's what I'll say.
You look at Pinterest clothes.
That's true. That's true.
Listen. Whatever
Also,
Maddie
you copped
says,
car who's before like 10
No
years
one
early.
was wearing car. You were
You're
like
wearing a
the
car who
first
hat
person.
right now with
Light 'em
a
up!
Hotspur. Like we
Vintage
literally
Hotspurs.
we talked a lot in December when you got that for Christmas about how cool that jacket was.
Show the people. Show the people.
I have a theory that they're fishing right now. They are fishing for compliments.
I will say,
They're like, I don't ever think about clothes.
I think about my outerwear.
Okay.
As far as like
T-shirts.
I wear the same 5 pairs of Vuori shorts every single day. No discrimination.
You were on. I don't know how to freaking say that word. Vuori. That one. You've been wearing those shorts long before they were popular.
Long time.
You also were on Tracksmith like 8 million years ago, and Tracksmith's freaking popular now. Shout out to Mitch.
I peaked early.
That's my king.
Crashed early.
That's right.
That's right. I've been unemployed for months. What's something else that's undisputedly different? Oh, I will say this. Any action TV show.
Yeah, that's good.
It is complete fast food to me.
Yeah.
Like, if you give me a protagonist who has
Skeletons.
just a skeleton in the closet
100%.
and then the tiniest pang of hunger for revenge.
No, dude,
Like, that is it.
Is Pacific Rim a good movie? No. Am I gonna watch it every time someone
I have
offers?
no idea what that movie
Absolutely.
is.
Am I going to watch
It's just
Independence
Transformers.
Day?
It's like a
Am I-
knockoff Transformers.
I would
just
watch
big
Transformers.
robots fighting big animals.
But I would say in my period of 18 months of, let's be generous and call it underemployment.
Part time.
I mean,
Futsal coach.
yeah, we're looking at Chris Pratt in the terminal list. We're looking at, what is it, Thad Castle from Blue Mountain State
Yep.
in Reacher. We're looking at, John Krasinski.
Oh yeah, in that one.
And
Yep.
Jack Ryan.
Jack Ryan.
Right now we're on Sterling K. Brown and James Marsden in Paradise.
But
We did Rebecca Ferguson in Silo.
That's right.
Did
so,
you do The Equalizer?
Oh, did you see that one?
No. but
It's like
on
the
my
same
watch
thing as
list.
John Wick, but it's a black guy as the
Yeah.
main character.
Wow.
But it's just that
Love
is
it.
that is something that is wildly entertaining to me.
Yeah.
Regardless, acting not a requirement. I just need them to be angry at something.
Yeah.
and to want to fix it.
And there's
with
kind of always
violence.
like a bad main love interest that it's like it'd be better for you if I stayed away from you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If it's a
Sophia.
dude, usually his wife had a tragic death.
Right.
And there's some girl that he knows
Who's
is
so
probably
hot.
up to something bad.
Yeah.
But he can't stay away.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah,
When the nights get rough,
You can.
I like
he's
that.
knocking on her door.
Honestly, that's kind of an amazing answer.
Yep,
Just like
I
a
love that.
boy freaking movie.
Yeah.
Or show.
I mean-
I'm a freaking boy.
yeah. Jack Reacher season 3 came out a couple weeks ago, and that's next up.
Maddie, what do you think?
So I'd like to circle back to my answer of clothes, okay? Because it's not necessarily the type of clothing. It's more so like where I purchase the clothes from. Like 99, I'm not exaggerating, 98% of my closet is from Target or is from Old Navy. Is from somewhere where it's gonna be cheap and it's gonna be the trends. And if it's not from there, it's from my mom's store. This sweater's from my mom's store. This is Old Navy. And it's just I like to wear cool clothes, but I don't necessarily, maybe that's a terrible thing to say. I do care where they come from, I guess, but I'm just not.
You're not going to buy selvage jeans from Imogene and Willie. 'Cause
Yes,
what
I'm
does
not.
that
I'm
even
not
mean?
I love to look on the Dish and the Anthropology and the cool girl. I'm just not. I'm
I
just.
think Mitch needs something to
What?
Do you remember the package that got delivered last night to our doorstep?
Yeah, but that's not. Zara is also is Target. You know what I mean? It's not cool. I'm just not.
I don't know what Zara is, but it doesn't sound like Walmart, and it probably doesn't price like
Dude,
Walmart.
Maddie, I'm be honest. I really think you're gonna need to rethink this.
Okay, maybe get back to me.
I think
Maybe
you
it's just
can-
because you
look,
operate in the world you operate in, that feels super normal. But
For people to buy their clothes at Target.
yeah, Target but also I
Well,
feel like it's unfair because for guys, if I shopped at Target, I genuinely think I don't know how I would look. I don't know what kind of
You
clothes
would look
Target
great.
has.
I'm gonna be honest, Steve. They do have
well,
good clothes.
yeah,
do.
I'm
Yeah.
you can get Dickies from
the girls
Walmart.
section at Target is half the freaking store. That's why
Yeah,
I'm
it's true.
I don't know if I can really relate with this. Is because Madewell girls is 90% of every store,
Yeah.
and their stuff is freaking cool.
Yeah.
You know?
See,
But-
that's a great example. I want to shop there. I just don't have the.
And see,
Whammy hasn't made $1 million yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I did dunk.
On
I
March
did dunk-
21st, she's going to Madewell.
I did dunk on her for Zara, but I will say, two of the
Yeah, what the heck? No, I'm just kidding.
the past 2 holidays, the gift requested has been specifically a pair of jammies from Walmart. A very specific pair.
Can I preach
Wow.
for a second?
Please.
Can I get
Go
on something
there.
real quick?
Go there.
Everyone listening to this podcast, actually I don't know about the boys, but if you're a girl,
No, boys.
go to Walmart. They have this brand of pajamas called Joy Spun. That's JOYSPUN. It's amazing. They're the best pajamas ever. They have cute sets, top and bottom, $16. You're welcome.
Wow.
They have Lake PJ knockoffs.
Wow.
They have like cute. It's so cute and highly recommend. I love them.
Joy Spun.
Joy Spun
That's
by Walmart.
today's sponsor. The girl from Arkansas pumps Walmart.
That's
That's
right.
right.
Write this stuff, man.
Hometown.
Can't write it. If anyone who doesn't know that what I just said, if anybody doesn't know what I just said means, nope, that's not how you say
No,
that.
I think that's
Walmart
right.
was founded in Arkansas.
Yep, that's what I'm trying
And
to say.
I'm from
Thank you,
there.
Myers.
And
Were
she's
you,
from there.
did you just business dunk on someone?
just-
did
I
you
just-
just jargon our
literally
listeners?
business
Wait, are we
Price per square
nearing,
foot.
Are we nearing the end of our
No,
time?
I have one more. I have one more whammy question.
And then can I ask
And
my
then you
WOM
can
questions?
ask
Okay.
WOM questions. Guys, one thing that I've just gotten literally so excited about. I've been trying to like naturally segue into this, but I've messed up several times. The reason I initially brought up like that customer interaction of like, let's get you a drink that you're going to love, is because one of the things that I've gotten the most excited about, so the thing I've evangelized about Whammy the most, is this drink menu and pastry menu that y'all are cooking up. Can y'all do y'all want to save it for grand opening, or do y'all? I guess this will come out on
Tease, we
grand
can
opening.
tease, Yeah.
Give us some tease.
On the menu is going to be, your classic cappuccino latte drip. Boring, am I right? We're currently cooking up the idea of the double whammy
Yeah.
Ooh.
being a drink that
Whammy.
potentially definitely has some espresso in it and something sparkly in it.
It's gonna be a Coke espresso
Coke espresso.
deal, but
I love
Double
that.
whammy.
the
A double
accoutrements
whammy.
to be determined
Yeah.
after testing.
I love that.
We're cooking up some potentially like some every season the syrup kind of changes, but some espresso
Does any coffee shop
tonics.
ever do that? Does any other place change
Yeah.
their syrups?
We also
Me and Gracie were driving around the other day, and we were like, "I want an espresso tonic. Where should we go?" Literally, we couldn't think of a single place that had espresso tonic.
really.
Yeah, so differentiate yourself. There you go.
That's right. We're gonna do all the seasonal drink things. I really want full-time spot on our menu to be a Shirley Temple.
Please, God, that was what I was hoping you'd say.
Just
I'm
a
so
classic
down.
Sprite grenadine, maybe a lime, some
Bang,
lime syrup.
bang, bang.
Boom,
Easy.
easy.
You'd
Pastries.
I bet y'all will be blown away by the amount of people that will order that too.
No, truly, I have my friend group from college. Like there are 2 of them that like would rather die than drink coffee, but they will drink Shirley Temples like
Yeah.
it's their damn job. So
Also, I feel like
for you,
Whammy's
AGB.
gonna be like
Curse
a,
word count 2.
Yeah.
sorry.
yeah. I feel like Whammy's definitely going to be like an afternoon hang. For some
so.
reason, whenever I think about Whammy, there's this like vision that comes into my brain of like a Friday afternoon.
Yes, same.
Like obviously it would be the Tuesday morning, the Wednesday morning.
But every time you open
But-
the door, it's the weekend.
It's freaking all right.
Because
Because summer isn't a season. Because summer's not a season. Summer's a mindset.
Yeah.
As we learned from our summer boys that were on the other day on this podcast.
Yeah.
But for the Friday afternoon is like, yeah, I'll get a matcha.
Yeah. I don't
like
need the caffeine.
But like a matcha soda though?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'll get an iced cappuccino, but like a Shirley Temple? But like I'll get an iced vanilla latte, but like espresso tonic?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
these kinds of like fun
Yeah.
ice drinks.
Definitely.
Also, I think Whammy opening up in the spring and summer is just going to be perfect. Though
It's going to be really fun.
Oh,
We're going to do, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
You go. Just some pastries and things. We'll do like a muffin and a biscuit and a scone every day.
Yes.
We'll variant that up, and then on the weekends, hopefully doing some fun, like maybe a cinnamon roll, maybe a croissant, something like that.
so
Can to end the Whammy segment,
yeah,
can I do a Whammy Fast 5
Please.
ideas that I have cooked up at one stage or another
yep.
that I would love feedback on.
Okay, you want me to start the countdown?
Yes.
Whammy Fast
No,
Five.
it's a fast 5 ideas, not like 5
5
seconds.
minutes.
The fast 5 stories you need to know. That's a Toast reference.
These are
Wow.
just on the periphery of my imagination,
All right.
and it would take feedback to bring them to life.
Okay.
Idea
do
number.
you have a brainstorm sound? Brainstorm sesh.
Let's see if this one works.
That's great.
Whammy Fast Five brainstorming session.
Wow, that's good.
Go now.
Idea number 1. The drive-through bank
Oh yeah.
vacuum tube.
Whoa.
Using that as a drink delivery system.
We seal the
your-
cups with
your
like the
drink
boba
just
lid.
gets like
Kind of like an elf whenever he puts his head up to it. You know.
yeah.
Okay,
Or,
so
or like
Onyx,
imagine just shoving cash in one of these things and it going.
Onyx did the conveyor
They
belt.
do have the conveyor
I
belt.
think that's kind of in the same
You ever
lane.
been to that one?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
conservatory.
Yeah.
That place is freaking cool, man.
That's
They
I
let
love
you
that
ride on the
idea.
conveyor belt.
I love
Wait,
the
what?
peak.
They let you ride on the conveyor belt.
Actually,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Whammy idea number 2 is a rotating monthly zine that contains word puzzles that if you complete, you get a free drink.
Wow.
Just a little, just pick up a little puzzle book. while you're sitting there.
Little brain.
I will. I
break.
think I feedback on the first one. Love the idea. Practicality, I have no idea. If you can figure it out, do it. 100%.
Your drink is gonna get
I'm a
real spilled.
dreamer.
Yeah. Second idea, I think the Whammy games, Sanctum, whatever you want to call it, the sector. Sorry, not Sanctum. Not like the Bat Cave.
Sanctum.
The sector
Now.
Whammy
Sanctum and
games.
Sky High.
I am, dude. Pump that crap,
100%.
man. Yeah.
It's been there since the beginning.
Yeah.
I think you should keep it.
I also love what coffee shop has that conversation game in it? What coffee shop have we been to that has the little conversation cards?
Was it the Bean in Jackson?
The bean. That's what you're
I
thinking
do love that place though.
They
But
got
anyways, there's
games
like
and
a
stuff.
place that has conversation cards like on each table. I
Fun.
think that's so fun.
I can't
Love
remember.
Anyways, okay.
Whammy idea number 3.
Bang.
When you want to buy a bag of coffee, you have to buy a token from us and then go to our mini vending machine on the other side of the store
I love that.
and get it vended.
Mm-hmm.
Just it feels satisfying. Whammy idea 4.
All right.
If you can prove that you're buying a drink to go throw at someone who has emotionally hurt you, then your drink is free because
Kind of like that vengeance,
Yeah.
Jack Reacher type
Yeah, it's like-
energy.
Is it
we
hot
want to
or
sponsor
iced?
that.
It's scorching.
It's as hot as we can legally serve it.
I definitely think that needs to be like on the menu somewhere. Like you should
Absolutely.
tell
All of these ideas
Sarah
are hit
Gentry,
so
whoever's
hard on
doing the
TikTok.
menu.
It's just called order the scorched earth, and
No,
it's like
it's- no,
no
it's
cash
scorched
exchanged.
It's just-
slide it over the.
it's just like ridiculously hot water, just boiling water in a cup.
boiling water and paint.
It's like we steal like a little bit of poop from every single flush and we keep it in and we're gonna put it in the water a little bit.
Right.
For the scorcher.
That's fantastic.
Scorched
If
death.
Jefferson County Health Department is listening, that is all hypothetical.
Jokes.
Idea number 5: every time a drink is ordered,
Mm-hmm.
a Hot Wheel launches through the very complex Hot Wheel track that is in the above bar cage.
Yeah.
So it's kind
Trying
of
to get
like
a sick track up there.
and then it just smashes into a bell at the end of the track.
And at Christmas time,
Fantastic.
it turns into a model train.
Turns into a model train.
I just genuinely would think that was so cool if I saw that.
Yeah.
Or I
Yes.
was thinking maybe free daycare, but it's just we'll put your toddler in a dino onesie and put it in the cage above the bar, and they can just be like mascots.
Yeah.
What if you like genuinely
feed it,
like
don't
you know
worry.
those like big like
not child
holes up top? What if you just got like a bunch of those like Komodo dragons and you just made like little like biospheres for them to live in?
Like some aquariums.
Like an aquarium, but it's just a bunch of Komodo
What's that called? A
dragons.
Aren't Komodo dragons like 4 feet long?
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
huge.
they're huge.
They're also venomous.
They are.
Hey,
true.
great distinction between venomous and poisonous.
Hey,
but
can
they're
I-
not the same thing.
Can I
Thank
run an
you.
idea by you? Whammy sponsored by Lightning McQueen.
Mm.
I think is he not still with Rusty's?
Forget I even said anything.
He's with Rusty's.
Yeah, you
There
can't
could
take
be more than one
recipes.
sponsor. Have you ever seen, I don't know, a jersey?
I don't know.
I
a
genuinely
jersey?
think y'all could sponsor a NASCAR car.
Done.
I've never thought about that. Would be probably your
cost
cheapest.
a lot of money.
And Steven, you didn't know this, but that was the first sport that I grew up with.
The McEvers are a big Indy
You're right.
500.
I forgot about that.
We were
Wow.
a Sunday NASCAR household.
I mean,
So
that is.
Praise
I
God.
was a Jeff.
Freaking. I don't know what the guy's
I
name
was Jeff Gordon in the 24 DuPont.
Yes.
And then once I found out that he was, my mom told me he was kind of mean, so I switched to Tony Stewart in the
Yeah,
Home
number
Depot
20.
But his story didn't turn out so well. Doesn't look
There's somebody
great
that was
in
like number
hindsight.
88. That I like.
88 was Dale Jr.
Dale
Jr.
Dale Earn.
Jimmy Johnson wasn't that somebody?
Jimmy Johnson was, I think, in the 44 lows.
Where was
44 lows, baby.
Amos Diggory? Kidding, that's a Harry Potter
I mean,
character.
Cedric Diggory. Boom.
Hey, I
Boom.
saw
Amos.
sorry, this is a random thing. I saw an interview with Robert Pattinson done recently. The interviewer asked him if you could resurrect any of your characters from the dead to play again, who would it be? And he said Cedric Diggory.
Who is that? Is that from Harry Potter?
Yeah. Have you,
Wow.
you're not that far yet?
Not that far yet.
All right.
Have you
hey,
even read the
no,
first book yet?
I've read the first page.
Hey,
No.
don't tell him anything. Don't.
Oh, sorry.
Cedric.
That's actually crazy. Robert Pattinson is in Harry Potter. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He should have picked Edward.
He was so perfect.
I didn't know
He
Edward
did,
died.
he did pick Edward because he was Edward.
How does that end?
I can't tell you.
So are we gonna WOM 180?
Yeah, it's time.
Yeah,
it's
bang.
time to WOM 180, everyone.
Bang.
Do a noise.
We are now the guests.
Welcome to today's generic segment of Whammy 180, where we become the guests and our guests become the hosts.
Wait, is that real? Is this the first iteration, or has this
Yes,
happened
it's the
before?
first time ever.
That was really
Wow.
good. That was a great intro.
Let's go.
Are you like a podcaster or something?
Yeah,
Steven?
seriously. Okay, well, when
Oh my
Mitchell-
gosh, what the heck? What happened? What are we on a podcast right now?
Yes. Mitchell told me that we were going to be on this. I was like, heck yeah, I have some questions for the boys. As a 2-time guest myself, I thought it was about time I start pulling my
Oh
weight.
yeah.
About time.
It's
Okay.
time to contribute.
I have 3 questions.
I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, yeah, no.
Thanks for
no
having us
problem.
on the Whammy WOM podcast.
Oh my gosh, Whammy X Mom, done. Okay, question number 1
Wait,
for the both
should
of you.
they introduce themselves?
Yeah, go ahead and tell us a little bit about you guys.
I'm Steven. I am a really fun guy.
Yes?
I love music and having a good time.
Awesome.
My name is Myers, and I run a lot.
Yep. And Myers likes cars, everyone.
I like cars.
That's right. That's right.
Myers
Okay,
says
boys.
Vroom, vroom.
He does. Okay. First question I have for you guys. Both of you have to answer all of these questions. Who would you rather have on the podcast? John Cena,
Okay.
Tony Hawk, or James Spann,
Wow.
regional weatherman, and why?
Tony Hawk by far, because I would love to talk to him about how whenever you had the Game Boy, you didn't have to balance on whenever you got on a grind, but whenever you got the Xbox, you did have to balance and you got into a grind. And I also love to ask him, like, whenever Skate 3 came out,
Sure.
like, why did he never come out with a competitor?
Yeah, Skate 3 took my business.
Yeah, Skate 3 was genuine. Like, it's also like if
no
Skate
idea
3
what you guys
was,
are talking about.
If Skate 3 was possible, how, like, why was Tony Hawk so bad? That's my one question.
I think I love Tony Hawk, and I do think that's maybe like the right answer.
Sure.
But I've consumed a fair number of interviews and videos with Tony Hawk in it.
Sure.
I don't know one single thing about James Spann other than he's the weatherman, and I
Yeah.
do think it would be kind of hilarious to be like, how the heck do you become a weatherman?
Yeah, it's insane. Don't you have to go to school? Meteorology
Yes,
school?
Definitely. There's
Yes.
a lot of math,
Yeah.
actually.
My mom knows him.
People in this region of the world, otherwise known as Birmingham, Alabama, literally are obsessed with him.
I also
Obsessed.
think we kind of lean into the Birmingham podcast thing a lot
Yeah.
right now, having a lot
Yeah.
of like local business owners and artists on and stuff. And I feel like that would be pretty.
Like, if we did host a
That would be
podcast,
pretty
we would
peak.
totally have, like, people down for Birmingham.
right,
Yeah,
right,
it's a
right,
good
right,
idea you
right.
should write that
like
down, actually.
hypothetically, if we had a podcast,
Yeah,
like
I've
you
lo-
guys
I mean,
do.
I love
Right,
being
exactly,
on.
Yeah.
exactly.
I've loved being on.
Yeah,
one.
maybe if
Right.
you guys like it so much, you can borrow equipment and you can,
Yeah.
start your own
Yeah.
thing.
We
I
might.
also think it'd be really funny for you to, chill boys, to have like James Spann in his suit and tie.
It'd be hilarious.
Back to you in the studio. Almost said Susan.
I
That's
think it
your
would
mom.
be
would
really
say-
hard to have John Cena on, being that he's invisible.
Yeah.
Of course, you couldn't
know?
see him.
It'd be like you're talking and you hear a response, but you can't really gauge like body language and stuff. You know?
Yeah. I'd probably love to ask James Spann what was it like to be like at what point did he learn that his house got hit by the tornado whenever he was like reporting and his house got hit by a tornado?
That
he was reporting
happened?
on. Yeah, whenever it hit like 280 like a few years ago, the tornado hit his house.
Oh my gosh.
Like while he was like doing the news, talking about it. It's kind of crazy.
Jeez.
He retired like the next year.
Wait, retired?
Yeah, he's like not. I mean, he like helps sometimes, but he's not the weatherman anymore. The other guy took it over.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just learning this. I'm kind of sad. I'm actually kind of very sad.
Respect the wait. What is it?
Respect the polygon.
Polygon. That's right. I got my dad a poster for Christmas a few years ago.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Birmingham lore.
Yes.
It literally says it was like a yellow hammer print
Yep.
shop.
I got
Respect the polygon.
So good. I would hang a pair of his autograph suspenders.
He's like a
in the way.
top 3 Birmingham
That would
celebrity.
be
He is.
amazing.
He is.
It's like
Actually,
him, Alexander Shannara. I'm trying to think who else.
Honestly, I think Charles Barkley's close enough.
Right.
To
Okay.
rub him in. He's
Or
Leeds.
Channing Tatum. He was born in Coleman, Alabama. Fun fact.
I did not know that.
guys, y'all want to hear something crazy that happened in Coleman?
Yeah.
The
Police. Yeah. So one of the police officers overdosed in the police station, and they figured out they had an entire like drug operation going on where they were taking the drugs that they confiscated and selling them out of the bag. And like 4 of the police officers and 2 of their wives got arrested because they were part of the system.
Oh.
But also, it's like
That is like one of your shows.
if we're talking business jargon, if we're talking ROI,
Be careful. Be careful.
that is the highest percentage ROI. Probably
Profit
maybe
margins
ever.
are crazy.
Seriously,
I mean,
pay 0,
also-
sell lots.
It's also like you're
Yeah.
overdosing in the police station. Like,
insane.
I mean, what an absolute freaking rat. It's just
Yeah.
like, don't overdose, bro.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Do it, but not at the police station, bruh.
It's like you just
Disrespect
robbed
for the
everybody
game.
of money.
Disrespect
You
for
just-
the game.
Yeah, seriously.
Also, crazy. It's crazy to me that the wives, when they heard about it, weren't like, "You should probably stop this, my husband."
Yeah.
You like they
They're
were
like,
like, "I
"No,
want a piece of
I
this.
gotta
want
Let
get
me
in."
that. I
in.
gotta get that new Yukon Denali Ultimate. I got to.
Oh my god.
They probably saw Ocean's 11 and saw how beautiful Julia Roberts looked in her
listen,
dress.
Yeah.
it's not a linear decision as we saw Breaking Bad. Like Skylar White was not a willing
I hate
participant,
her.
but she was a
Right.
forced participant.
Don't bring her
Yeah.
into this.
No, okay. On the second watch, you get a lot more sympathy.
I don't like her. Okay, are you ready for the next
Walter
question,
was an
boys?
animal.
All right.
Yes.
Next question. And I need you guys to think about this one, okay? If you, Lord willing, blessed you, both of you with a family, if you had to name your baby after a piece of podcasting equipment, what would your baby's name be? I did notice my wire here is called Dynamike, Dynamike.
That's pretty sick.
That's pretty killer.
I mean,
I just clocked you. I'm so
Uh-oh.
sorry.
Uh-oh.
I involuntarily, like,
It's my hat accidentally.
I think I have spatial
man.
issues.
oh, that is such a. I would have never guessed that would have been one of the
I think
questions.
Rode is kind of cool.
Yeah, Road.
We have a Rodecaster is what this soundboard is called.
Uh-huh.
RODE is
What's
kind
this?
of a cool
Is this
name.
Shure?
Yes. Microphones are
Mine is
sure.
Audix. It's kind of sick.
Audix.
I think I'd name mine
Gets
tripod.
Tripod.
I wasn't
Tripod.
asking you. No, I'm just
You
kidding.
call them Tri or do you call them Pod?
I don't know. Your headphones are DT770 Pro. That's a good name.
Freaking. I guess we've already named everything, so I'm trying to think of anything else.
You could choose one of the ones
Cam.
we mentioned.
Cam.
Oh yeah, I'll probably name my son iPhone.
Yeah.
iPhone
What's the nickname?
Peacock.
iPhone Peacock.
Ippy.
Ippy.
Wait, I don't hate Ippy.
I think
IPPI.
ohm. Your headphones say 80 ohm. I think ohm.
80 ohm.
Ohm
OHM.
Allen.
80 ohm Allen.
Interesting name.
I love it. I feel like that's something that I do whenever people say what kind of name like they're gonna name their child. I just respond with that in a super country accent. 'Cause I'm like some twerp that they go to elementary schools and be like, Myers Allen, hey, the hell you doing, man?
Yep.
Something like that.
Okay, my final question.
All right.
All right. You know how like every podcast ever goes on tour?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And usually when a podcast goes on tour, they bring a guest.
Right.
Or they like
I didn't know
call
that.
a
Cool.
regional guest from a city.
Yeah.
Where is your dream tour destination You can be as specific or not as specific as you want. And who is the guest you're bringing to that episode in that city?
Dead or alive.
Dead or alive.
It can be anyone. It doesn't have to be practical. Like someone we
No,
can actually.
It can be
alive.
anyone except Erling Haaland.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. It can be him. I'm just-
Erling Haaland. I've listened to podcasts with him. It would not be fun. I don't think he's very fun.
I think he was made in a lab. We can talk
Yeah.
about this.
He also doesn't score a ton.
He does not anymore.
Oh
The
man,
game's left him.
the game has left him. Do you know what I learned yesterday? This is our short little prim aside. Premier League in England. Anthony Robinson is second in assists this year in the entire Premier League.
That's insane.
The United
Salah
States
first?
Legit. I
Gotta
think so.
be.
Yeah, I think so.
Gotta
Yeah.
be.
It's Mikel Damsgaard for
Yes.
Brentford, and Anthony Robinson are number 2 with 10, and the number 1 I think has 17. It's like way ahead. Anyway, sorry.
Me.
There's my Premier League aside.
I
We just
also
lost
think
everybody's
Mikel
attention.
Damsgaard could be Myers' brother.
Genuinely, I didn't think about that. That means you're
I've never
Danish.
seen him.
He's so good. He was playing in the game whenever Christian Eriksen died.
Oh,
Yeah, but then Christian Eriksen came back alive, and he plays soccer still, which blows my mind.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that is a good story.
Yeah.
Okay, dream city for tour and dream guest in that city.
Mine's gotta be Adelaide with Jackson and Lachlan from this other podcast in Australia. I think it would be
so funny.
genuinely so freaking fun and
You're going to
funny.
Australia?
Yeah, I
And
would
you're
get
having
it.
them on there. Okay.
Yeah, so they are 2 Australian guys that are from Adelaide. They also currently live in Sydney, so maybe Sydney. I'm
Probably
also
Sydney
yeah.
Opera House.
Yeah, Sydney.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd go Sydney on the water or Melbourne at there's this like cafe there that I've always wanted to go to. I'd probably do it there. I don't know though. Somewhere in Australia. We go Sydney Opera House. Why the frick not?
Sold out one night only.
Jackson and Lachlan would be on.
I
That's
thought
what's going on
about
in my
doing. I thought about doing the O2 in London, massive arena.
Cool.
mind. Maddie.
Part of me thinks it might be cooler to just do some kind of pub, just a
Very
tiny
cool.
little pub in England.
On like a stormy night.
Yeah. And I want to bring on
Everyone.
Chris Harris. That's my selfish choice because he's my favorite automotive journalist, and I just want to talk to him. I want to have Chris Harris and Friends Car Podcast open for our hypothetical podcast.
Sure.
that we would
But
have.
if it's in a pub, can he bring his car inside?
no,
Is
but
there enough space?
I mean, car show outside, right outside
Sure.
the pub, all the cars.
So then maybe not a stormy, rainy night.
Second
Man.
choice is Copenhagen, and we have parcels open for us.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't
Copenhagen
know.
would be so sick.
Dream guest. I've never. Well, I guess we have thought about that before. Who did I say last time? Did I say John Mark Comer?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I think when we've talked about this in the past, like Jordan Peterson's probably my dream guest, but I don't think I'm anywhere near ready. I would not have enough good questions to ask him.
Yeah.
I need a lot more. I need a lot
That's
more.
how I feel about like if
experience.
I ever were to meet Taylor Swift, like if I saw her and it was like we were literally about to cross each other on the street, I would have to turn around because I don't feel worthy. Like I feel like I don't have words to say, so I don't even want to try. Like I never want to meet her because I'm too like, what would
love
I
to-
even
yeah.
begin to say?
I would
feel the
love
same
to-
way about Ed Sheeran.
Dude, I feel that way. Whenever my friend Emily was in that coffee shop in where in Colorado was she when she sat beside a table with Hailey Bieber, Justin Bieber, and Kendall Jenner. She sat at a coffee shop
told that
from
story
me to you.
That's insane.
We talked about this whenever it happened, like a year ago or like in December, whenever it was. But it was like she just like had her AirPods in and turned them off and just listened.
Yeah.
Because she was like, what do you even?
Yeah.
What do you even begin
What do you say to the
say
most
to
famous
someone?
people ever?
Literally.
Yeah, it's like for them, it's like how do you like? There's not even they're like almost are like demigods or
Yeah.
something. Like,
And it's not like you could do the like I feel like if I saw Taylor, I could be like, I would never do this, but hypothetically, I could be like, I love your music. Like it has been with me through so many seasons. You can't really say that. I guess you could say that.
yeah,
to
she'd
Justin
be
Bieber,
like,
but
yeah,
like
thank you. You're the 600 millionth
Literally.
person to say. She'd probably really appreciate it.
Kendall Jenner, your Instagram's cool. Like what?
You're
Yeah.
right.
But I think it's super fascinating too to get super meta about this. The most refreshing person you could be to them is someone who literally is like completely offline and has no idea who they are. Yeah. And I think that is so interesting. How like you can
We assume.
yeah. I mean, I feel like in order to make like Justin Bieber like laugh and be like, oh, this guy's funny, you would have to be able to like be I don't know, I'm thinking like this situation is coming on to my mind. It's like you're at a urinal by Justin Bieber. Somebody like literally blows like diarrhea fart huge, like in the stall beside you.
Yeah.
If you know who Justin Bieber is, you wouldn't look over and be like, that was crazy. Because then you'd be like, I'm such a cloud chaser. I'm just trying to make Justin Bieber laugh. That's what comes to my brain. Maybe I'm being really like niche right now. But if you're just like an old man who has no freaking idea who Justin Bieber is, nor would you ever care, and you were just like, man, it's a good day right there. Justin Bieber would freaking love that guy.
And honestly, that is David Hickson in a nutshell.
David
my
Hickson
dad.
is the perfect
that
person
is
I have
how
a good
he,
story.
that's
Bieber.
how he hit the
Yeah.
back nine with Samuel L. Jackson.
Are you being serious right now?
I have a good story.
What?
So my dad, David Hickson, he's a legend. He's definitely a character. He is. I'm from Northeast Arkansas. Live really close to Memphis, Tennessee. Was in Memphis all day for doctor's appointments with my mom. So my dad was like, drop me off at the course in West Memphis. I'll play for a little bit. On your way back, come get me. Like perfect. So my dad, it's like a Tuesday.
West Memphis, like in Arkansas?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
joking.
This specific course is like maybe like literally like 10 minutes off the bridge. So it's like, I mean, it's really close to Memphis. So my dad's playing. It's like a Tuesday. I'm like probably like 8 or 9. Like I'm young. And my mom and I are just in the city. Anyways, we pick up dad at the end of the day. He's like, I had the craziest day today. We're like, tell us everything. So he starts on the driving range. He's hitting the balls. And all of a sudden, this guy comes up and he, parks it right in front of him, starts swinging. And my dad, he was a golf coach for like 30-something years. My dad is also just like the least private, personal space kind of guy. Like he
Speak
just
to anyone.
everywhere he goes, he meets a friend. Like he is the most personable person I've ever met. He kind of starts watching this guy and he's like, crap. Like the guy who's playing in front of him is like shanking the balls like nobody's business and is clearly getting frustrated with himself. And it's just my dad and this person. So my dad kind of leans over and, when he walked up, they were chit chatting for a second. My dad goes, hey man, like I'm not, I come with the utmost like humility and respect here, but I think I know what like you could fix on your swing to like make sure those balls like get where you want them to go. And he's like, I'm all ears, tell me. So my dad kind of gives him a tip. What do you know? The tip works.
Come on.
This individual is hitting
Golf
balls
coach.
like an angel. So then he's like, what are you doing?
An angel.
My dad's like, I got a tea time, but I just decided I would pick up somebody along the way. And if not, I'd just play by myself. Obviously there's no one out here. What are you doing? And he was like, well, I only have like a certain amount of time left, but I'd love to play with you for the first 9. My dad was like, perfect. So they played 9 holes. My dad has a great day just chit-chatting with this guy. This guy keeps saying stuff like in my industry and in the line of work that I do, there's a lot of, have to be private about kind of things. It's refreshing to get to come and like meet a stranger. But in my industry, my dad's thinking he's like a CIA guy or like a...
Right.
Sure.
My dad also not at all like pop culture relevant in the slightest bit. My dad like eats, sleeps, and breathes like the PGA channel and ESPN. So if you're not on those things, he has no idea who you are. So he, gets to the end. We go to pick him up. He's just beaming, had the best day. And he shows me his golf ball. And I'm like, this golf ball is autographed. He was like, oh yeah, I played with a famous person today. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, let me think about him.
He was in the Avengers, maybe?
Yeah, he was like, Samuel somebody. I was like, you just played golf with Samuel L. Jackson. I was like, you just played golf with Nick Fury. And he was
That
like,
is
he was
crazy.
like, oh yeah, that is right. That's his name. And he kept saying stuff like my industry. My dad didn't care at all of what it was.
Yeah.
So my dad didn't ask any questions about like his line of work.
So your theory, Steven, I think it could go somewhere.
like low key, I genuinely am like the only person that they would ever. If I'm thinking that if I was Justin Bieber, if I could put myself there, the only person I would want to hear from would in no way be like, oh my gosh, dude, I've like always loved your music, or like it's so crazy, you're whatever. Even though that person like likes that Justin Bieber more than anybody, I would want someone that would just be like literally detached
Can I
from
fix
everything.
your golf swing really fast?
Literally.
A-list celebrity.
Just treat you
Could
like
you
a
imagine
normal person.
Samuel L. Jackson looks over and he's just like, thank God, someone who's not trying to like be some person that like they're just like
Get something
hanging
from
out.
me.
Yeah.
So much so that like when my dad handed me, I guess I was older than that young because the Avengers was out. But when my dad handed me the golf ball and I saw the like, and he kept saying the word like, he was like, I think his name was Sammy. It was like, I called him Sammy. And I was like, could this be Samuel L. Jackson? He was like, oh yeah, I think that was his name. Like the fact that he didn't even ask him if he was a superstar. He just gave him an autographed golf ball. And he's like, thanks, man.
Yeah, it was like I played golf with a lot of people in my life. I genuinely think David Hickson's the most enjoyable person to play golf with in the world. Like I showed up.
I'll pass that message
This is so like
Give him his
busy,
flowers. Give him
me.
his flowers.
But like I
That's my
straight
king.
up, like he paid for me to play at a really nice golf course. So like for real, he's done that several times. So thank you.
Yeah,
David.
he's
I
original.
legit love you for that because it's sometimes hard
Fortune
to afford to play
500
golf.
boutique.
Literally, yeah.
Exactly.
But he paid for me to play golf. I showed up late and left early because of commitments that I had, which is the most like jerk thing to do ever.
Happens.
And he genuinely was like, "Yeah, man, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I'll wrap up early too if you want." I was like, "No, dude, you're so good." But he just like genuinely is the most like he doesn't need anything.
He's a
from you.
chiller.
He's like such a fountain, not a drain. He's a drain hating fountain.
He is a drain hating fountain, that king.
Yeah, legend. Yeah, but guys,
Love it.
I think we're gonna wrap there because we're an hour 40 in. You want to say something?
I would love as a finale soapbox. Could I finale
Please.
soapbox?
Yeah,
Please,
finale soapbox.
go there.
Sound effect for the finale soapbox.
You guys can totally edit us down if we talked for too long.
Nope.
Oh, you're good. I love it.
Never.
So, finale soapbox. I think if you're listening up until this point, verging on 2 hours, then I think this soapbox could apply to you.
Come on.
But for a fact, Whammy would not exist, certainly not in this form, if it were not for friends, family, strangers, just being like, hey, you got a cool thing going. I think you should keep doing it. That alone, like just little pieces of encouragement or feedback along the way are a integral part of why I kept doing it.
Yep.
And yeah, I think if you're listening now and you're like, hey, I listen to Stephen and Meyer's Wham podcast and it's fun, but I've never talked to them about it. This is your sign to say, hey, Stephen Myers, I really
Love
like
your
what you
pod.
guys do. These are a
Wow.
couple things that make me happy when I listen to your pod. Because people who are doing something that is neat or cool don't know that they're doing something cool unless other people tell them. Crazy.
By the people, for the people, because of the people.
But yeah,
Bang.
if you have people in your life that you think are doing something creative, neat, silly, willy-nilly, and you want them to keep doing it, you should say something.
Breathe life into that.
Yeah.
It's a good word.
Fan that flame.
I was just about to say
Be a
fan that
fountain.
flame.
Fan it.
Be a fountain.
Thanks for having us on, you guys.
Thanks for coming.
Genuinely, anytime. I can't wait to have y'all on again. Whenever we can like debrief what's it like to own a cafe
Done.
in a few years, a few months.
Yeah, and that
Couple days.
that time we can actually record in the space. We get some sound panels up.
Oh yeah. Oh hey, how are the
We'll make it
tables?
happen.
Did they turn out good? Did Aldo make them?
Yeah, I'll show you the pics.
Let's freaking go. Cool. Hey, well,
Go to
cheerio.
Whammy.
Go to
See you guys
Whammy.
on March 20th.
I like go to Whammy. Grab a Shirley Temple
Yeah.
or whatever you're into.
Or a birthday cake scone.
Please, for the love of God, get birthday cakes. Man. They're so good. I'm probably more excited for that than I am the coffee.
Steven,
no
I think you've had
offense,
more than
coffee.
anyone. Because I
And,
made them twice and you
yeah.
had both times.
and I like go get that. Go get a birthday cake scone and go on a little walk around Roto Park with your Pookie or the person you want to be your Pookie.
Come on.
It is
Ask her out.
Ask
her out.
This
Take
is
her
your
to
sign.
Whammy.
Take her
Go
to Whammy.
Go on a walk around Railroad Park. It is cuffing season, summer 2025.
Yup.
Whammy,
Yup.
Whammy is the love doctor.
Whammy is for
I didn't
lovers.
Ever think
Turn
that's where I
that
was
turn
gonna
that
go
summer
right now.
fling into that lifelong thing.
All right,
At
guys.
Whammy.
Cheers. Thanks for listening today.
Cheerio.
Welcome to the secret segment where you have to say.
I forgot about this.
All right, secret segment. This is what you have to do right now.
Okay.
I want to know unrestrictedly. Let it out of the cell.
Unrestrictedly.
What is your biggest pet peeves when you walk into coffee shops? What is something that a barista can do, the person taking an order do, that the whole coffee shop, the aura of the coffee shop,
What
can do
will-
to just like piss Maddie and Mitch
What would
off?
make you never come back again?
What is even warranted for like, I might get on Yelp after this.
I'm not really a Yelp guy. I think I internalize the pain, and I'll just be curmudgeonly about it.
Right.
Yeah.
but
Grumps.
Yeah, grumps.
Conceal, don't feel.
Yeah, that's the grumps coffee in me.
Yeah.
I think it's when I order, maybe it's to go, and there's nowhere really for me to stand or sit that is not in someone else's way. So like I'm standing, but I'm pivoting left, right, center, forward, back because people keep needing things
Yes.
through me. And I'm like,
The napkins.
Yeah.
You're in front of the water pitcher. You're in front of the lid.
right. There's nowhere you can go that someone's not going to be like, hey, can I squeeze by you real quick? And I'm like, oh.
Dude, that is so true. I've never, I'm like people not considering space.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh man, that'll really fire me up. Okay, so I think your mic detached.
Hello?
There you go.
He's back.
It keeps going in and out. That's weird. You're saying it keeps going equal grinded?
Gears.
Take mine.
Gears equal grinded.
Gears equal grinded.
No, you're good.
There's
You're
like
good.
there's this like robo audio effect you can do on GarageBand, and that's what you were sounding like.
I have no idea.
Careers equally grinded.
Real ball.
Anyways.
I think mine's less of a pet peeve and more of a like, I'm probably not going to come back here. When the person taking my order even is like standoffish and like cold.
Yeah.
I know that's probably a preference thing. Some people don't mind that, but I just appreciate like, hey, how's it going? What can I get for you?
That's right.
Any variation of those 3 words, those 3 phrases, even just a hi, what can I get you? I appreciate that. Makes me want to come back rather than like when people just like dead stare at you and just wait for you to speak, because it's already kind of awkward to be like, are we gonna small talk? Like what's the roadmap here? And it's like whenever you retreat and are cold, it makes me nervous because I talk kind of loud.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like I'm like Like one time I was at a coffee shop and I told this girl I really liked her earrings and she didn't respond, and I was like, I was like, I don't want anything. I'm gonna go back to my car.
Ouch.
Anyways.
And that's the Haya. It's Maddie.
Yeah. My Instagram name used to be Haya. It's Maddie.
Is it not anymore? What is it now?
It's Maddie McEver now. I'm a grown up. Come on.
Hey, right. Yeah. What do you think yours is, Myers?
That's when my butt hurts in the seat. Hate that.
Make me not go back. I mean,
talk crap about us behind the bar like that. But also, I still go back to Amavita, even though they did that. I don't know if there's anything.
yeah.
Like, I remember being in Amavita, and we're in the secret segment. I can be this way.
Yep.
I worked at the, like, number 3 roaster in the world.
Yeah.
Right? I don't ever want to be that guy, but sometimes that emotion provokes within me.
Sometimes
and it's
the
when
LinkedIn credentials just
The
Yeah.
ego flames.
and when the
into
Amavita,
Yeah.
like I'm talking the freaking seaside,
Yeah.
like white girl shop.
Are you even
4
real?
syllables.
like?
You can't even order a drip coffee there. They're like, we don't know what that is.
Yeah, like I was in there and I was like, "Can I get an iced cappuccino?" And this is my pet peeve. This is my biggest pet peeve. I still go back to places whenever they do this to me. I don't. It would take a lot for me to not go back to a coffee shop. But anyways, whenever we were in Amavita one time it was either my bachelor trip or Myers' bachelor trip. I can't remember which one.
I think it was yours.
And we all ordered iced oat cappuccinos. And whenever I ordered it first, the guy was like, "Yeah, for sure." And then whenever like the 6th guy ordered it, for some reason he got like progressively more and more annoyed as we like went through the line. And then whenever
Yeah, so annoyed that you're spending money at his establishment.
I know, right? It's crazy. And I'm using less of your product and
Literally,
spending the
you're
same
welcome.
amount as a latte. That's freaking nuts to me. Why would I ever do such a thing? Why would I ever want that much cappuccino when it's warm? But cold, I would it's against the law. And this guy, like the owner, was back there. And he was like, he looked at the checks that were coming through, I guess on the iPad or whatever they get the secondary POS from. And this guy was like, what the hell even is this? Like this drink doesn't exist.
What?
And I looked at him, and I literally almost was like, "What?" But I didn't.
Say it to
I
my
stopped.
face.
I wanted, but he said it loud enough for me to hear, and I wanted to be like, "Come on, man.
Say it to my face.
Come on, man." Like,
I thought you were going to say when you're like, can I get an iced cappuccino?
Bruh.
And the person's like, what size?
bruh. Yeah. So, anyways, I think iced cappuccinos. We talk about iced cappuccinos a lot on this podcast. We actually haven't in a while,
They're so delicious.
but at first we talked about it a lot.
I'm trying to think of what's made me actually not go back to a coffee shop. And there was a coffee shop downtown that I got. I want to say it was it was it was either oat milk or almond milk drink. And I don't think I've ordered that drink anywhere since I went there, and I also won't go back to that place
Because it was a bad
so
drink.
bad.
because it was like the milk must have been expired. It was
Yeah, I remember this.
sour.
We threw
was-
it away.
It was
Where
disgusting.
were we?
It was Cala downtown.
Oh dang!
Like right
Okay.
when they opened it first. So I hope that they've gotten better.
I'm sure.
They have.
But when
they
they
for sure
when
have.
they opened it first, that shop was rough.
Dude, me and you were somewhere like random one time. No, I take that back. Sorry. Me and Christian were in this place it was the only coffee shop that was open where his parents were moving in Idaho, Sun Valley, this like ski town in Idaho. And I didn't know that before I went, but yeah, there's like beautiful mountains and skiing in Idaho. But anyways, we're in this town and we went to the only coffee shop and I got like an oat milk cappuccino. And it literally tasted like someone injected like rotten milk and burnt hair into a cup and made it liquid form and made it hot. And I took one sip and I was like, that is
stinky.
the worst thing I've ever tasted. And I threw it away after one sip. And we were there for another week and it was a small town. And we went and bought, granted, it was on his parents' money because they wanted a pour over setup. We literally called his parents and like talked them into us going and buying a coffee setup for their house
That's
that they were
crazy.
moving into so that we wouldn't have to go back to a coffee shop the rest of the week. So that's probably, I bet if the coffee genuinely tasted like rotten milk, that's what it would take for me to not go back.
Because it does annoy me going to cold coffee shops, meaning people who are not sociable and kind.
Yeah.
But I still go back to them
Yeah.
often because they'll give me a good drink. And I mean,
Yeah.
also a little bit to me, it's like a challenge to try and win over the barista. But that shouldn't really be a challenge for a service industry
No.
establishment.
What job did you think you were applying for, bro?
Right.
See, but sometimes if I get a cold order taker,
Yeah.
then I'm just kind of like, it's like, all right, I can kind of play the mysterious work from home person who
Right.
kind of has confidential information they're working on and doesn't want to be noticed. It's like, that's fine. I'll slip into my Jack Reacher right now.
Here it is
Yeah.
again, ladies
There
and
it
gentlemen.
is.
Take a shot every time he says Jack Reacher.
Dude, that is so fun.
It smells like pizza rolls in here.
It does. I think it's because the youth group's meeting.
Oh, I wonder if we can snag one.
No, genuinely, I think that when you go to a coffee shop and the part, and one of my favorite coffee shops in town, they have a person that does this regularly. I walk up, they say literally nothing. They just stare at me and wait.
For
Baffles
you to say
me.
your order?
Yes, baffles me. I'm like, why did you get if you're so introverted
Yeah.
that you don't want to say anything,
Yeah.
why did you get a forward-facing job?
Yeah.
There's like millions of jobs where you could have
Millions of
stayed at
jobs.
home and not had to speak to anyone all day.
Yeah.
And you chose this. I don't understand. Anyways, there's your secret segment that we get to crap on bad cafe culture. I'll tell you
Gee.
what, everything that we just talked about, you're not going to get at Whammy.
Never.
Never, ever.
Never.
If you
ever.
say, I want a large cappuccino, like, we'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
right.
We're not going to size discriminate like that.
Yeah.
You know?
We'll be
Come
like,
on.
large cappuccino on the bar.
Bang.
For Steven.
I hope I go in there. Every time that I order a cappuccino at Whammy, I totally am anticipating getting the question, what size?
Yeah. What size, and do you want a shot in that? Or you want just a cup of milk?
We're going to bring out, like, these Zaxby size 32 ounces.
Oh, okay. What about if you get somebody in, because this is my pretension coffee coming in. Say someone walks in and says quad shot. What's it called whenever people are on keto? Yeah, breve quad shot latte. How do you respond to that?
We at pop-ups we've gotten that more than you would think. And
Quad shot breve?
one time we had a guy ask us for a dry cappuccino. And Mitch and I both looked at each other. We were like, do you know what that means?
Still don't.
So we just assumed it was
I think you made a regular cappuccino.
no, I think you did a little less milk, like somewhere between a
Sure.
cortado and a
I was going to say, is
cappuccino.
that a flat white?
And he was like, he was mad. He was like, this isn't a dry cappuccino. We were like, then you should have defined the terms. Imbecile.
We will never
All that.
ask you to define terms at Whammy. At Whammy, we will either define them or work with you to find a proper definition.
That's right. That's right. That's why I've never heard of a dry cappuccino
Me
before.
either.
Let's Google it. Oh my gosh, there are youth people here.
Wow.
Yeah, I went out there to fill up my water bottle earlier, and there was a girl filling up her water bottle in the sink. And I said,
Wait,
I'm copying you.
That's
And
Carlton
she
Neal.
said, okay.
what's called?
Lauren.
I was like trying to chit chat.
What are they doing out there?
Like, they must be doing youth group like worship auditions. That's actually kind of freaking awesome.
Oh my gosh, stop. They definitely are. Oh my gosh. They're a little, you suck is what he was saying to you.
I think that might have been an F. I don't think that was an S.
This says a dry cappuccino has significantly larger proportion of milk foam compared to steamed milk.
So that's like when you go to the coffee shop in the mountains and it's just like bubbles, like big bubbles on top.
Mhm.
It's like when you go get
I
a
love
latte.
that. I love that people want their coffee that way. Serve it up fresh.
You're hired. Whammy.
It's probably hard to go back to the barista and say, "Can I have more bubbles?"
Yeah.
You know, like that's got to be hard
Bubble,
feedback.
bubble.
Could you make this a little bit foamier, please?
I want big bubbles, not little bubbles.
Oh,
Please give me big bubbles.
Big bubbles.
All right, then we've reached to the baby voice segment, which means we're done. So,
Bye,
guys, we love you so
everyone.
much.
Love
Thanks,
you guys.
guys.
Thanks for having
Whammy,
me.
rock.
March 20th. Can't wait to see y'all there. Bang!
That was so fun. I kind of blacked out for a while.
5 booms out of 5.